where every corner feels like a page torn from an ancient legend. Ireland doesn't just have beautiful landscapes, it has living stories carved by ice, fire, and myth. Today, we're counting down the top 15 most incredible natural wonders of Ireland, from hidden mountain lakes that inspired poets to cliffs that touch the heavens. We'll journey from the rugged wilds of the west to the misty peaks of the north, uncovering brief histories, ancient legends, and the exact places you can stand in awe in 2026. Grab your virtual hiking boots because number 15 is already jaw-dropping, but we're saving the absolute magic for number 1. Let's dive in. Number 15, Loch Tay, hidden deep in the Wicklow Mountains, often called Ireland's own Guinness Lake. Picture this, a perfectly still, ink-black lake nestled in a dramatic U-shaped valley, backed by sheer granite slopes that look like they were sliced by a giant knife. The white sandy beach at the far end creates the perfect creamy head, exactly like a freshly poured pint. Formed during the last ice age when glaciers carved this valley, Loch Tay has been part of the Guinness family estate for over a century. They even used to dye the water darker for effect in the old days. But nature did the real work. The dark color comes from peat-stained streams flowing down from the bogs above. Poets and filmmakers have fallen in love with its moody beauty. It feels like a secret portal to another world. Stand on the viewing point at the top of the pass and you'll swear time slows down. In 2026, visit early morning for mirror reflections and zero crowds. Pure magic to start our countdown. Number 14, Loch Glencar Waterfall, a poetic cascade on the border of Leitrim and Sligo. Imagine a 15-meter ribbon of white water plunging over ancient cliffs straight into a tranquil loch surrounded by mossy woodlands that turn golden in autumn. After heavy rain, it roars like a lion. This spot stole the heart of Ireland's greatest poet, W.B. Yeats. He wrote about it in The Stolen Child, where the wandering water gushes from the hills above Glencar. The waterfall has been inspiring dreamers for over 100 years. Geologically, it's a classic hanging valley left behind by retreating glaciers 20,000 years ago. Park at the base, walk the short trail, and let the spray kiss your face. One of Ireland's best-kept poetic secrets, and it's free. Number 13, Dunbriste, the broken fort sea stack off Downpatrick Head in Wild, County Mayo. A 50-meter high grassy-topped pillar standing alone in the Atlantic, completely separated from the mainland. In 1393, a ferocious storm ripped it away in a single night, leaving behind the ruins of an old fort and even a chimney still visible on top. Legend says St. Patrick himself drove all the snakes of Ireland onto this stack. That's why there are none on the mainland today. The surrounding cliffs have a massive blowhole that shoots seawater 30 meters into the air during storms. Walk the 400-meter cliff path on a clear day, and you'll feel like you're at the edge of the world. Mayo's wild Atlantic soul in one unforgettable rock. Number 12, the Gap of Dunloe, a glacial masterpiece in the heart of Killarney. A narrow, dramatic valley squeezed between Purple Mountain and the McGillicuddy Reeks, County Kerry. Sheer cliffs rise on either side, while crystal rivers and 5 small lakes sparkle below. This U-shaped wonder was carved by a massive glacier 25,000 years ago during the last ice age, nature's own cathedral. For centuries, locals have offered pony and trap rides through the gap, but the real magic happens when you walk or cycle it at dawn. The silence, the echoes, the way the light dances on the rock walls, it feels sacred. One of Kerry's most photographed natural corridors. Number 11. Tool, Ireland's rooftop at 1,038 meters in the McGillicuddy Reeks, County Kerry. Stand on the summit and you're literally on top of the entire island. Sharp arêtes, deep glacial corries, and a massive cross that has stood through howling storms for decades. The Reeks were shaped by ice and rain over millions of years, creating some of the most challenging and rewarding hiking terrain in Europe. Climb via the Devil's Ladder route and you'll pass Eagle's Nest and the heavenly Hag's Glen. Not for beginners, but the 360-degree views of lakes, valleys, and the distant Atlantic will redefine your definition of epic. Ireland's true mountain king. Number 10. Croagán Cliffs on Achill Island, County Mayo, the highest sea cliffs in all of Ireland. Rising a staggering 688 meters straight out of the Atlantic, these sheer drops make the cliffs of Moher look almost friendly. Remote, windswept, and often wrapped in dramatic mist, Croagán feels like the end of Europe. Formed over 400 million years ago, the cliffs are unstable and dangerous, which is why so few people ever see them up close. But those who hike the ridge are rewarded with views that stretch forever. Achill's wildest secret and one of Europe's most dramatic coastal spectacles. Number 9. Ben Bulben, the iconic Table Mountain of County Sligo. A flat-topped limestone giant rising dramatically from the surrounding plains like a sleeping dragon. At 526 meters, its steep sides and unique shape were carved by glaciers and constant Atlantic winds. Irish mythology says the warrior poet Finn McCool and his Fianna hunted here. W.B. Yeats loved it so much he asked to be buried nearby with the famous line, "Under bare Ben Bulben's head." The mountain changes color with every passing cloud, gold at sunrise, purple at dusk, a living poem carved in stone. Number 8. The Mourne Mountains, County Down, Northern Ireland's dramatic granite playground. A compact range of 12 jagged peaks, the highest being Slieve Donard at 850 meters. Ancient granite pushed up from deep inside the earth, polished by ice into perfect pyramid shapes. C.S. Lewis walked these slopes as a child and later said they inspired the landscape of Narnia. Dry stone walls snake for miles, silent valleys hide crystal rivers, and the famous Mourne Wall runs across 31 summits. Hike the Brandy Path or climb Donard for views across the Irish Sea to Scotland. Raw, untamed beauty that feels like stepping into a fantasy novel. Number 7. Wicklow Mountains National Park, the Garden of Ireland, just south of Dublin. Glacial valleys, sparkling lakes, cascading waterfalls, and rolling heather-covered hills as far as the eye can see. The park covers 20,000 hectares of pure wilderness, shaped by ice sheets that left behind deep U-shaped valleys like Glendalough. Ancient oak woodlands, red deer, and the famous Powers Court waterfall, Ireland's highest at 121 meters, make it a hiker's paradise. In spring, the mountains turn purple with heather. In autumn, they glow gold. Just 45 minutes from Dublin, yet feels like another planet. Number 6. Connemara National Park and the 12 Bens mountain range, County Galway.
Oscar Wilde called it a savage beauty. Vast peat bogs, glittering quartzite peaks, rushing rivers and hidden lochs under ever-changing skies. The 12 bends, 12 jagged quartzite mountains, were formed 500 million years ago and sculpted by ice into perfect hiking terrain. Walk the Diamond Hill Trail for panoramic views, or drive the Sky Road for the full Connemara experience. Ponies roam free, traditional cottages dot the landscape, and the Atlantic wind carries the scent of salt and freedom. This is Ireland's Wild West at its most untamed. Number 5. The Burren, a 250 square kilometer limestone wonderland in County Clare that looks like the surface of the moon. A vast karst landscape of cracked gray rock where rivers disappear underground and reappear kilometers away. Formed 300 million years ago under ancient seas, then thrust upward by tectonic forces. In spring, it explodes with color. 70% of Ireland's native wildflowers grow here in the cracks. Pony-tailed orchids, gentians, and even Arctic alpine plants thrive side by side. Ancient ring forts and portal tombs, some 5,000 years old, are scattered everywhere. Walk the Green Road or visit the Burren National Park, and you'll feel like you've stepped back in time. Number 4. Slieve League Cliffs, Slieve Leach, in southwestern Donegal, among the highest sea cliffs in Europe. Rising 600 meters straight out of the Atlantic, these cliffs dwarf most others on the planet. The name means Mountain of the Flagstones. For over 1,000 years, pilgrims have climbed here, first pagan, then Christian, seeking spiritual connection at the edge of the world. The one man's path is a knife-edge ridge that will test your nerves and your legs. On a clear day, you can see the cliffs of Achill and even the mountains of Connemara. Raw, spiritual, and utterly humbling. Number 3. The legendary Cliffs of Moher, County Clare, Ireland's most visited natural wonder for a reason. Rising 214 meters above the crashing Atlantic, these sandstone cliffs stretch for 8 kilometers like the spine of a sleeping dragon. Formed 320 million years ago, layer after layer of ancient seabed now towers over the ocean. On clear days, you can see the Aran Islands and the hills of Connemara. O'Brien's Tower gives the best views, while boat trips from Doolin let you see the cliffs from sea level, puffins, razorbills, and the famous Blowing Cave, a place where the power of nature literally takes your breath away. Number 2. Killarney National Park and its 3 majestic lakes, Ireland's very first national park. Glacier-carved valleys filled with the deepest, bluest lakes you'll ever see, framed by Ireland's highest mountains. Home to the last native herd of red deer, ancient yew woodlands, and cascading waterfalls like Torque. Established in 1932, but the landscape is millions of years old. Boat trips across the lakes, the famous Gap of Dunlow at the entrance, and Mochras Abbey ruins nestled among the trees. In autumn, the colors are so intense they look painted, a living, breathing masterpiece of Irish nature. And finally, number 1, the Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland's only UNESCO World Heritage Site and the most incredible natural wonder in all of Ireland. Apropos approximately 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, perfectly hexagonal, formed 50 to 60 million years ago when volcanic lava cooled and cracked in the most mathematically perfect way possible. The columns step down into the sea like a giant staircase. But the real magic is the legend. The Irish giant Finn McCool built this causeway to cross to Scotland and fight his rival Benandonner. When Benandonner came looking for him, his wife disguised him as a baby, and the Scottish giant fled, tearing up the causeway behind him. You can still see the giant's boot and other formations that prove the story. Walk the columns at low tide, feel the ancient energy, and understand why this place has captivated humans for thousands of years. This, my friends, is Ireland at its most mythical, most scientific, and most awe-inspiring. Which of these 15 wonders is calling your name? Drop your number 1 in the comments. Mine is always the Giant's Causeway on a stormy day. If you loved this storytelling journey through Ireland's wild heart, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Safe travels, keep exploring, and remember, the best stories are the ones you live. Slanti.